and welcome back to the Alizee show. I'm your host, Alizee, and today I'm joined by VANGELINASKOV. How you doing? You've not been on this channel in forever. Why?
Well, because you are supposed to tell me when we record these.
Me?
It's
How's it
your
my fault?
channel.
I always like get concerned that if I have another YouTuber on regularly, like you or Rachel, and then we don't do anything for months, I always wonder, like, oh, are people gonna think that we've fallen out? Do you know what I mean? But like, no, it's literally I'm lazy and I forget that I have a podcast half of the time.
Has anybody thought that? Like, comment if
I
you've
don't
thought that. I want to know now.
like I wouldn't think so, but then when you see not that we're nearly relevant enough for this, but when you see the T channels that are like, oh, Shane Dawson didn't mention someone or another, maybe
Yeah.
they've not that we're nearly relevant enough for that, but I
No, I
wonder like
don't
if people
think.
have their own headcanon.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to be making videos, but maybe subtly somebody is like, I wonder. They haven't done a video in like however many months. How long has it been? I don't know.
Like several months.
Has it? Well, it's
Yeah.
just because we're both useless, to be honest. Like, that's it. The whole
I'm so
story.
bad with doing the podcast channel and then like emailing to try to get guests on and stuff. But people need to understand, like 90% of the time when you email someone to invite them on as a guest, they either ignore your email or like delete it or probably like block you or whatever. Like I think I've sent an email. I've had people, right. I'm so shit that now like I have one of my friends paid do my emails for me because like I'm so shit with it. I'm like, no, you do it, like, paying them a couple of hours a week, that type of thing. And so like Andrew Huberman has been contacted a few times, and each time I've gotten a reply back, which is nice, but each time it's been a no. And I'm just worrying, like, if I try again in a year's time, am I going to get blocked by Andrew Huberman's team? I don't know.
Can I ask firstly, who is Andrew Huberman?
I knew you were going to say that. Are you kidding? he's he's a neuroscientist and he's got a very popular podcast himself, and he's just interesting, and I feel like he'd be very interesting to talk to. But like there's no reason that Andrew Huberman, the neuroscientist, would want to talk to me. Do you know what I mean? Like there's literally no reason why he would want to.
Here's what you do. You go on a chat GPT, you say, what like little hook can I give Andrew Huberman to talk to me? Here's stuff about me, and then it'll just tell you the cheat codes for life. I don't know. I stopped thinking, I just use AI. It's great.
Oh, don't. You're like my friends. They're always trying to offset everything they can to AI, because I'm always like, I need to write a story, and they've been saying, why don't you just get an AI to write a
Oh
story for you?
no, well, I
No,
wouldn't do
you can't do
that.
that. That's cheating.
No, but I do it for stuff like, well, because if you're writing a story, you want to write the story. Like, I do it for stuff like, oh, I have to write this annoying email. Like, just write this email for me. Like, stuff like that. But like personal stuff or creative stuff, like, you want to be doing that yourself. I don't, like, I wouldn't use it for videos or anything like that. It's just dumb shit that I don't want to do and I don't want to think about.
That's what they keep saying to me. They keep saying, why don't you just use ChatGPT to write your scripts? And it's like, have you asked AI to tell you a joke? Like, we don't need to worry about the AI taking over anytime soon. They can't, because it's not even ChatGPT. It's not. Who did I hear talking about this? I think Michio Kaku on Joe Rogan. Oh, I've decided that me and Joe Rogan are fine again.
Oh, yay. Okay.
I don't know why. I know why, actually. Because he had this comedian called Matt Rife on, who, like, whatever, I don't really care about Matt Rife. I'm aware that you've probably never heard of any of these people.
I know
Have
Joe
you?
Rogan and Michio
Okay.
Kaku.
Well, he had this comedian on, and they weren't even talking about the comedian's career. They spent the first hour just talking about animals and animal facts. And I was like, oh, I would love to just sit with Joe Rogan and just talk about animals and like bears attacking people and chimpanzees ripping people up. And I would love to. But I don't think he'd want to with me. So I decided we're friends again.
Okay. That's great to know. I'm very happy for you too. Does he know?
He will one day.
We're gonna find out in like 5 years' time that you're actually like a full-on stalker or something. Have some Joe Rogan shrine. We've just been thinking it's a joke.
Don't check my cupboards.
Yes, I'm often in your cupboards.
Back in the cupboard. back in the closet. What was I talking about? Why did I start going on about Joe Rogan?
AI emails, brains not working, something along those lines. You were getting people to email for your podcast, and that is the whole line of conversation, I believe.
Imagine being so useless that you have to just like employ someone else to do your emails. Imagine that. I mean, granted, it's only a few hours a week, so it's not like a full time thing or whatever. It's just, it's a bit of extra help. But I felt so validated, yeah. Because my friend, actually, they've been on the podcast before. It was KD who used to be on the podcast with me when I had the studio and stuff, but they moved like out of London, so we just couldn't do the podcast together anymore, which is a shame because they really liked it. They've been doing like the emails for me, and they've been uploading the shorts to the podcast channel, and they messaged me because I was like, you need to make sure that, you know, there's tagging, there's descriptions, the title's good, all the stuff that, you know about too. And they messaged me and they were like, oh my God, there actually is so much fucking admin to doing YouTube. I didn't realize it. Like it is I don't want to say a full-time job because that's stretching, but it is a heavy part-time job.
It is, no, it is a full-time job. I'm not gonna,
Especially when you have 3 channels like me, 3.
yeah, which is
And
a
a
bit
TikTok.
ridiculous. You should just like get rid of them all.
Delete all my
sorry.
channels. No
Yeah.
one needs them.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm sorry. That felt mean. No, it's like there's so much people don't understand. Like, it's not you sit down and you film a video and it's great. Like, there's so much shit. There's so much editing. There's so much, like, I don't know, keyword research and like making thumbnails and bullshit and like just planning. And my brain hurts and I want a nap when I think about it.
Do you know what sucks? Did I tell you about this? I don't know if I told you about this. I've been uploading shorts on the podcast channel, and with like your revenue, you can see separately how much shorts make, so how much money you get per 1,000 views, CPM, for the average viewer listening to this now. And I've been uploading a bunch of shorts. Do you know what the shorts CPM is?
Oh, it's like a cent or something ridiculous.
7 pence. So 7 pence per 1,000 views. But there are some people on here, and the only reason I bring this up is there are some people on here. There's this account that I follow. Her name's Maceley. I think she's a Norwegian living in London, and she does like home decor, kind of like living in London, that kind of stuff, like, you know, family friendly stuff. And she's mainly a shorts creator. And sure, her shorts get like hundreds of thousands of views, but I don't understand how that's livable in the slightest. If it's seven, not saying that hers is, but mine at the moment is 7 pence per.
It's
Wow.
not that there's no way unless like you would have to be using shorts either to sell something else, like if you have some kind of like website resell shit or like some kind of product, or if you just get really lucky and have loads of views and sponsors and things. But there's no way you could live off just the ad revenue of shorts.
Because the TikTok creator fund is apparently like that too. It's just pennies
Mm.
per couple thousand views, and but if you can get sponsorships on TikTok, that's all right. Do you know what I've started doing on TikTok?
Oh God. Okay.
What I eat in a day.
Have you? I haven't
Yeah,
seen them. I
yeah.
don't open TikTok. Maybe that's why. I'm sorry.
I know. I've sent you like literally 100 TikToks. You've not seen any of them.
I will look, in fairness to me, and I said this to you already, I haven't even opened the TikToks from my own girlfriend. So like I will get to it. It's just they changed the app and the messages aren't where they used to be. So now I don't like it.
I
And I
can't
don't
believe I'm not a higher priority than your girlfriend. And I'm insulted. I should be a higher priority than anyone's
I'm
respective partner.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I will put you on the top of the list. Even above the no, I can't even joke about putting you above the cats. Like it's not even
Fair
funny.
enough. I'll
Yeah.
accept that. Do you know why I've started doing what I eat in a days?
Tell me.
Because it's the only content that I do enjoy watching on TikTok for some reason. And there are these TikTokers that I follow. Someone said that they were like their own Kardashians of TikTok. And I'm like, no, that's so true because I have to check in with these people every single day. There's Corey, Charlie, and Corey's girlfriend Leah. And they're these Welsh TikTokers. And they do what I eat in a day content. And they've been doing it for maybe about a year, maybe a bit more than a year. Charlie has 500,000 followers purely from doing this content, and they eat like crazy food as well, you know, like like McDonald's 3 times a day. No, that
Oh
not
God.
like that's a bit too much, but like at least McDonald's once a day,
Oh
you know.
God.
And she Yeah, this Charlie girl, she had like a party for her 500,000 special and it looked amazing. And they have these management teams and they go down to London to like these offices for their management, for managing their TikToks. And like the offices are just full of sweets and candy. And I'm like, oh my God, this is like Willy Wonka land. I want to be a part of this. Are you joking? And they get sent freebies all the time. As you would, like, free trips out to restaurants or to the cinema or free food or whatever. And it's like, in this state, in the cost of living crisis, I'd be stupid to try to not get free food.
Hmm. I
I went to Tesco's. I went to Tesco's the other week. I bought 6 things, and it was like 16 quid for 6 things.
No, I fucking hate Tesco. You can't go into Tesco without spending 30 quid. Like, there's no way. I go in to get milk and I come out, I've spent 30 quid every fucking time. I could just go to Lidl, but I don't because it's like 2 minutes closer to go to Tesco.
Mm.
But I was gonna
Saint,
say, I'm like stuck on how do you have a management for making what I eat in a day video? It's like you said that and then you just moved on. Like, that's just okay.
to be very, very fair to them, they also do other content, but it's the what I eat in a day. Like,
Okay.
I guess vlogs and get ready with me's and stuff like that. But the main stuff is the what I eat in a days. And okay, there's this other girl and her name's Abby Taylor something. And she lives in Scotland and she does what I eat in a days. And it literally is like 3 McDonald's a day. It's crazy. Like she ordered Chinese and she put extra salt, like loads of extra salt
Oh no.
on the Chinese. And I was like, this is, and she's got like 100,000 followers. And I'm like, this is clearly the route to go down. Like, are you joking?
So you're just gonna like eat really unhealthy food? Is that what you've been doing? Or just normal?
Do you know what's funny actually? I've actually, because I know that I'm filming it, I've naturally been eating a little bit healthier than I would. Like I was cooking up chickpeas the other day. I've never cooked I've eaten chickpeas, but I've never like sat there and cooked them with paprika and crap
How have
to
you
put in a salad.
You're a vegan. How have you never cooked chickpeas?
Because I like to get the pre-cooked ones in a can and I mash them up and I make them into like a chickpea tuna. Have you ever
Yeah.
done that when you rip the nori sheets in? I
I
do
mean, I
that, but
buy
I
it
don't.
pre-ripped, so
Do you?
you can get it like to
La
sprinkle
di
on.
da.
Yeah, I know.
Can Oh yeah, I guess you can. That would be a lot easier than trying to cut it up. But yeah, I've been eating like yesterday. I ate a bit crap, and then I was like, "Oh, I'm filming all of this. I should eat some fruit." So I had a plate of fruit as well. So it is kind of making me a little bit healthier,
I
which
mean,
is
that's
like
good.
the opposite of what I thought would happen. But yeah,
I have filmed a million of them, like for TikTok and Instagram, and then some longer ones for YouTube as well. But then, because I was doing it like every day for a while, and I kept forgetting to edit them, so they're all just sitting on my phone, ready to be edited. And I cook like most of my meals, so it's like it's interesting. But I think the issue is I don't film myself like eating them, and I think that's what people want to see. But then I don't want to have to put on makeup to eat a salad. Like it feels
filters.
stupid.
Use the filter. Use the filter. There's well good
Oh yeah.
like filters on TikTok. You're sitting on a gold mine if you've got loads of them. Just edit them, put them up. And like sometimes the Abby girl that I mentioned, she like mainly just films it. Like 90% of the time, she just films the food that she's having rather than like actually eating it. Because I know what you mean. I've been doing some shots where I do like take a bite or whatever, and it does feel a bit weird. It feels a bit awkward.
Yeah. No, I've noticed I make stupid faces when I eat as well. Because anytime I film myself eating, I'm like, I don't know, my mouth does something weird and I'm hyper conscious of it. But then probably nobody else would notice that. It's just like stupid stuff. But what you are saying is that people should follow you on TikTok.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If you want to see what I eat in a day content, if anyone gives a shit about that, sure.
Well, I do. Now that I know that you don't generally cook chickpeas, I want to know what you eat. So,
I eat a lot of bread. I eat a lot of bread. Do you know what? As well, there's another problem with TikTok. Our phones. I know they're listening to us,
mhm.
but like the extent they're listening to us is really bad because I've been having a fruit fly problem, and my boyfriend was blaming me, being like, "It's because you leave bananas out and you don't put them in the fridge." And I'm like, "I don't want to put the bananas in the fridge because
Bananas in
then
the
they go."
fridge.
Thank you. They go like, oh, they go off quicker when they're in the fridge, don't they?
They're
Whatever.
just weird in the fridge. It's not right.
Yeah. Well, they like the skin goes brown quicker when you put them in the fridge. So I've been blamed for this fruit fly problem, and I'm like, and we've been like cleaning everything really well, and still the fruit flies are just appearing. You leave like a sandwich on the counter for like 1 second, the fruit flies, it's been a whole thing. And I've been getting blamed for this. But then a TikTok showed up on my phone, and I've not like spoken to anyone about the fruit fly problem because I thought it was a bit embarrassing. It's not like a massive problem, but like you just notice there's a few every day, and right?
Mhm.
I had a TikTok come up on my phone where this lady said, "This is embarrassing, but I've been having a fruit fly problem, and here's the thing: we've been cleaning everything, but actually, fruit flies they lay eggs in your sink." So what you have to do is you have to get boiling water. I know we just said I'm a vegan, but you have to get boiling water and tip it down the sink and it kills the eggs. That's what you have to do. And I was like, wow, that's really handy advice. But this is listening to me because we've had a conversation about the fruit flies in person. I've not been like texting it to anyone else because why would I? What a weird thing to text. It's
Yeah.
listening to us. Like TikTok actively listens to you and then show.
It doesn't even
It's
try to hide
worrying.
it though. That's the annoying part. Like it's like at least pretend. Like all the apps all the time, you will say something and then 2 seconds later it'll come up. It's like, oh, like wait a minute. Pretend
I
you're
know,
not
it's
listening to
so obnoxious about it. It's so in your
me.
face. It's like they're not trying to hide. They don't care.
I don't like it, but at the same time, I don't really care. Like I feel like I should care. I was raised to very much care about this stuff, but I think I'm just completely apathetic at this point. I'm like they're listening to me. What are they going to learn? I don't know. I'm going to die one day. It's fine.
Do you know what's so funny about that? Like in my heyday, I was just the biggest conspiracy theorist. Like
Mhm.
the biggest. Like I thought that people were listening to my phone calls because I'm just that interesting.
I
I
mean,
thought
same.
GCHQ exactly had the whole file, like a whole cabinet on me because they just thought this girl, A, she's going places clearly, and
Mhm.
B, she knows what's going on. We got to keep an eye on her. Now, I still believe there is an Illuminati type group. It's simply called the Bilderberg Group. You can look that up. It's a real group where the elites and royals meet up once every 2 years. It's a real thing. We don't know what they discuss. It's all secret. It's a real thing. I believe that. Um, but yeah, I don't really give a shit anymore if companies are listening to me. Like, so what? Enjoy it, I guess. Enjoy the free show if you're listening to my weird phone calls.
The only time I get really worried about it is like, this is so stupid. It's like if I make a joke, right? I'll make a joke and be like, oh, fuck America, or like, oh, China's so like scary or something. I'm like, is China or America listening to me? And I'm on some list because I've not been to either of those countries. They're not going to let me in. I don't know. Just like not the case, I hope.
I was gonna go. I was gonna say something else then, but I forget about it. Shall we get onto the meat of the episode?
Yes, let's.
So, what's been happening in YouTube? Like, let's have a bit of a gossip episode because I'm in a gossipy mood. I love a
Okay.
bit of gossip. I'm not better than gossiping. I don't try to be. So, what's been going on YouTube? Tell me.
Oh dear God. Well, where do we begin? You know, Colleen Ballinger. She's
Heard of her?
you. Everybody knows. I don't have to like pretend people don't know and like talk them through the whole thing. Colleen Ballinger, it's been bad and it's still going on. And like there's all the stuff now about Jojo Siwa and everything that she said, and now everybody's disavowing her for essentially like protecting Colleen Ballinger. And it's just all a bit much. And I'm tired.
Yeah, I did see. So Jojo Siwa went on to Tana Mojo's podcast. I've not watched the episode itself yet,
Mhm.
but it came up. I clicked on it, and the comment section, like, because usually the comment section is kissing Tanya, like Tana's ass, no matter what. But the comment section on this one was not happy about the choice of guest. She put up a pinned comment saying that she was unaware of the drama until she had just put it up, but her co-host Brooke had apparently, after they'd filmed the episode several weeks ago, had gone on Instagram to be like, I don't condone Jojo Siwa, I don't support her, like just after they'd filmed the episode. So Tana's lying yet again.
Mm.
But she lies so in your face. I just feel like, because I don't take her like seriously as a person sounds really mean. Like that sounds mean. I don't mean to be mean, but it's like you know that she's going to lie and bend the truth. So at this point, she's been on YouTube for what, like 8 years? Like she's been on YouTube for a long, long, long time, and she's always lied and twisted and whatever. I feel like if you believe her at this point, unless you're a brand new fan and you hadn't heard of her like yesterday, it is kind of your fault if you're believing her at this point. Like that's
Mhm.
sort of on you. she's categorically like she's a pathological liar. But I do find it funny that she really tries to like put it on, because there's no way that you were. I was aware of the Jojo Siwa stuff. There's no way that you wouldn't have been aware of it. And then like she obviously put the podcast up because it has generated gossip and buzz. And if anything, Tanya is actually very good at marketing because she's constantly in trouble and like stays in trouble. But yeah, I just found that really funny.
What is the point of the lying though? This is what I don't understand, because you had that video on your channel about her talking about the wine lady, right? And it's just like lie after lie. Now this as well. Like, what is the point of it? Because everybody knows you're lying. Do they? Do people not know?
I would say like younger members of our audience don't, or they do just believe everything she says, because maybe the way I see it is I think maybe her audience refreshes. Like you'll get the people who have been there since the beginning, but I think her audience does refresh quite regularly, so that you might get newer fans who are 16 who aren't aware of the 100 other times she has lied or stretched the truth or exaggerated. I think also she just enjoys embellishing, because that's like, she is dramatic and that is who she is as a person. And it would be fine if she like, because a lot of her story times were proven to be fake, right? And it would, a hot take, I think it would be fine to embellish, but as long as you just don't drag real people into it and like, you know, affect their careers or whatnot. There was this she had this story time years ago about how a Disney star stole money off her to buy cocaine, right? And that was proven false, like, because she said that her friend was friends with a Disney star from a very popular Disney Channel show, and you could kind of guess who she was talking about from like the context within what she was saying. And then a phone call between her and the friend, who was the friend of the Disney star, got leaked. This is all like, you can find it on YouTube. And she says in this phone call, yes, I know, I'm so sorry. Like, yeah, it's just a story. It's just like a joke, basically. Like, she's admitting to her friend that she did lie about the story time. And her friend has been like, no, it's not acceptable though, because like people have like guessed that you're talking about this guy. He had nothing to do with it, and like you're affecting his reputation, kind of thing. So yeah, it would be like if she was a liar that didn't lie about real people, who cares?
No, I kind of like agree, because like with the story time thing as well, like there's no way when story times were like huge, people were telling all these real stories all the time. Like 80% of them were made up, and the other 20% like had made up stuff in them. Like, so it's okay, but yeah, they're dragging the people into it. But then like stuff like this with the Jojo Siwa thing, it's like, what is even the point? You posted the video, like clearly you wanted to get the negative viewers and the positive ones as well. Like you wanted to be in on the trending topic, but like just don't say anything. Like just shush. You don't have to say you didn't know, because you did. Like there's no way you don't.
What would you do in that situation then? Like, because you know, you like, unless you have no self-awareness or social awareness, you are aware when you're doing something that's slightly naughty or slightly bad, you know? So like, what would you do? Because I'm just going to say it. I was talking to my friend who's doing the emails, Katie, because we talk about potential guests and stuff, you know? I'm like, if you have suggestions, let me know. I'm always up for talking to people. So I messaged them being like, what if we emailed Joe Rogan? Because I would love to talk to Joe Rogan about cryptids and animals. And they were like, I don't think people would like that. Like, I really don't think people would like that. And I was like, yeah, I guess you're right. It would be quite like a rogue sort of like crossover. Not that he'd ever say yes anyway. Like Joe Rogan would never say yes. Like, why would he to my
He
tiny
might.
podcast?
You don't know.
He wouldn't. Like, mathematically, it's impossible. He just wouldn't.
Nothing's impossible.
I think that's pretty close, especially as I've like slacked him. Like he'd just look through the channel and see like shorts where I've slacked him off. But if like I did that, I don't know if my audience would like it, and I would certainly have a sense of, I feel like I'm doing something a bit naughty here, even though like I don't think it's bad to have conversations with people, but I also, with the Jojo Siwa thing, so from what I'm aware of, like Jojo Siwa, she's just been defending Colleen Ballinger, and Tana Mojo, we're talking about this in particular, specifically. Tana Mojo is a people pleaser. She's not going to push back on anyone on her podcast. Like she's not. She's not gonna like call them out and be like, hey, but then you said this and like, do you think of that? You know? Um
I mean, I've done like I filmed that podcast episode with Keemstar, which is like somebody that would have been like really bizarre for my channel.
do your audience know about that?
No, because it never went up. I mean, I'm sure I've mentioned it maybe,
This
but
is brand new information to them.
yeah. No, it never went up. And the reason it didn't go up is not because I suddenly decided, like, I'm not going to pretend I was like, oh, this is a bad idea. No, the audio was fucked. We were supposed to, like, I tried to fix it. I waited too long. Was supposed to re-record it with him. He's not good at responding to messages, at least to me, because I'm not anybody in his life. And then he didn't respond, and I kind of waited a few months. And then I
Mm.
got back and I was like, are you still up for doing this? And he was like, who is this? So I was like, okay, we're not doing it then.
Ouch.
Yeah, no, but in fairness to him, I had changed my username and my profile picture. So, but like, he didn't know who I was to begin with. Like, it was only through mutual people. But what was my point? Yes, that like I knew it was somebody that my audience might be like, this is a bit weird. Why would you give him a platform? That's the thing people always
Mm.
say. I was like, I'm not giving him a platform. He has like millions of
Oh yeah,
subscribers.
when they're so much bigger than you, it's like you're not platforming them. Like
Yeah,
they've
not
platformed
even
themselves, and their
slightly.
platform is like up here, and you're down here.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I guess my point, because when I talk, sometimes I really forget like my point, so I forgot where I was going with that whole like little thing about Jojo Siwa. My point is I'm someone who I think it's fine to talk to people who have opposing viewpoints to you. I think that's
Mm-hmm.
totally fine because that's how we learn to communicate, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
how we like do social bonds and stuff. But I think you should also like stand up for what you believe in. Now, there's a limit though. There are some people I would never invite onto my podcast because I know that talking to them would be like talking to a brick wall, or it would give me a migraine. But there are other people I really do feel like me and Joe Rogan could happily chat about animals for an hour, as long as we didn't get onto veganism, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because then like we would butt heads, but I really feel like we could talk about the Loch Ness monster.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
Or
do
maybe
it.
did dragons exist? Oh, I don't know. Maybe I should just ask my audience. Audience, should I invite Joe Rogan onto my podcast? I mean, he will say no, but
But like ask him. I think it'd be great. I want to watch it. And I do like I think we should talk to people. This is the thing. Uh I want to talk to people I disagree with. Like it's not just that like I'm okay with it. Like I want to talk to people I disagree with. Just most of the
mm,
time, these people have far bigger audiences than me and more emails than I have, so will not see it. Like I did a video about Pearl Davis recently. I would love to talk to her. I think she's a fucking idiot. Like I think she doesn't believe in anything she says, but I feel like if I
mm,
could speak
mm,
to her, I could poke holes in that in real time. And also, it would just be really funny to me. You know, I
that
wouldn't invite anybody on that I think is going to come on and be like spouting some horrible racist shit and like calling for the death of people. Like I wouldn't invite somebody like that on, but somebody who just has like different opinions to me, I would like to.
that is actually one of the people I was thinking of when I said there are certain people I would just never invite on because it would be like having a migraine. I wouldn't. That's someone that I just wouldn't because I believe what you believe. I categorically think that she does not believe anything that she says. Because like when it comes to grifting, both on the left and right, there are grifters, and there are a lot of them. I've met a lot of them. You know, people that will only say things online for the controversy, and then it brings in like views and whatever. I'm not interested in dealing with extremists.
Mm-hmm.
I've had my fair share of that in the past. I'm not interested. Like it's for me, like it's just a bad road to go down. Also, Pearl in particular, she went on to H3H3's podcast and Ethan Klein demolished her. And I'm sorry, but if Ethan Klein intellectually bests you, Ethan Klein, I would never show my face on the internet again. I'm just saying. And
Yeah.
actually, I'm okay with Ethan at the moment as well. I've been listening to H3H3 a little bit recently. And I do think he's a bit funny. I think he's a bit naughty, but I do think he's a little bit funny.
I mean, yeah, he's a little bit funny, but at the same time, there's something about him I can't stand. The thing with me, and I need people to remember this about me, is that I will make a video about like some controversy or something. 2 weeks, it's gone. I'll forget it. Because I remember I made a video about
Yeah.
Ethan Klein, hated him, cannot remember what it was about. Do not know what he did. Like even for really big stuff, like it's just gone. So every time like something new comes up, I have to re-educate myself. So like I don't remember why I hated Ethan Klein, but I think I still dislike him.
I've done videos on Ethan Klein before, like calling him out for shit. There was one where he had Papa John, as in the Papa John, on his
Oh,
podcast, and it was after Papa John had been like, I've eaten 30 pizzas in 30 days, and he looked like he was sweating pizza. That was so funny. But he had Papa John on, and just like, but this was early H3 podcast, so his interviewing skills, I'm not saying I have good because I don't. It is actually quite hard to interview people, but his were like, they were pretty bad at the time. He was just constantly interrupting and stuff. So I did a video. So yeah, H3 is someone who would probably never want to come on my podcast either. I'm just out here alienating people and then wondering why no one wants to come on my podcast and talk to me.
get Trisha Paytas.
No, I was thinking about this recently. Like, I would love to talk to Trisha Paytas because I saw a TikTok clip of her talking about how she had a meth overdose in 2019. I want to talk to her about that kind of stuff. I think that's so interesting, and the fact that like she's been so public for so long. And I remember her video posting was a bit weird around that at that time, like pre-pandemic. But I would never have guessed like a meth overdose. You know?
Yeah, no, that is I didn't even realize that. Fucking hell. Like I knew she was taking stuff, but I didn't know she like overdosed fully. But I will say, and I said this to you already, but if you get her on your podcast and you do not introduce me to Trisha Paytas, like we are done. I am never speaking to you again.
That's what I say. That's what I say about Keanu Reeves. One of my friends worked on Matrix 4. Like, he was going to work on Matrix 4. And I was like, you have to tell Keanu Reeves that I exist. And he was like, you know that I can't just say that on a set, though, right? You know that, like, that's really unprofessional. And I was like, you know that I don't care and I will disown you forever. We've been friends for a long time, like 15 years. Tell him that I probably hasn't. Probably he has no idea. No idea.
I
One
mean, in
day.
fairness, he could get fired for that.
That should be a sacrifice that he's willing to make.
You know what? You're right. You're right. That's
Thank you. I'm always right.
not unreasonable at all.
No, it's my one demand in life. That's all. I'm fine with everything else.
Okay, so whenever I meet Keanu Reeves, because as I've established, I will actually be really rich and really famous, like very
Hmm, hmm,
soon.
hmm.
I will make sure to let him know you exist and
Yeah, just
tell him he needs to follow you and watch him and make sure he does it.
he needs to come onto my podcast channel and we can just chat. We could just chat. We'll just have a chat. We'll talk about animals and chimpanzees ripping people up.
Is that what you want to talk about with everybody?
I don't know. It's a real sticking point recently because it is quite horrifying.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been so cartoonified in my head. I feel like I can't take it seriously, which sounds really bad, but like I just can't
Mm.
visualize it, which is probably a good thing.
Mm.
You know, we're supposed to be talking about like gossip and we're talking about chimpanzees.
That's fine.
Would you talk to Jojo Siwa about chimpanzees ripping people up? This is the real question.
Okay. No, maybe. I don't know. With Jojo Siwa, because I understand everyone's points about the entire situation. Uh God, it's dicey. I'm trying to be nuanced. I'm trying to be mature and like an enlightened centrist and better than all of you. Um, I think it is important to remember that she's been exploited almost all of her life by her mother
Mm.
and by these like weird dance mum shows. And she met Colleen when she was 12. Like, Jojo Siwa is not going to be aware yet, because she's only 20, that there's something very strange about that. And I've seen people say, you know, she's made a pattern of defending predators like Shane, James, Charles, Colleen. But I think it's weirder that those people have all been drawn to Jojo in the first place. Do you know? I think the inverse has happened because it is odd that these people who are much older than her, like, I mean, there's a level of like normal exploitation going on there already. That these, like, she was really famous at the age of 12, had millions of followers already from these shows or whatever, reality shows. So you would get the bottom feeders like Shane, like Colleen, being drawn to that to try to exploit and get some views from it. Like that's just seemingly a normal thing that's been happening in the past like 8 years. It's been happening for like a long time. Um, I feel like JoJo's, yeah, it's not great that she's defending predators, but there is a level, I think there's a level of grooming that's just gone on there. I think someone, and I don't like it when people say, well, by her age I knew better. Okay, good for you, like your life is different. I have no idea what it's like to be Jojo Siwa, to be ultra famous for all of my life, and to have most of the adults around me exploiting me financially. I have no idea what that's like, so I'm not going to pretend that I would do any better in her shoes. Do you know what I mean? And that's not me defending what like she's doing. That's just me trying to be a bit nuanced about it. Because I've told you many times, like in my early to mid 20s, I was getting exploited by people who are much older than me, not like financially, because what they're going to do, like take the 50p I had in my bank account, but just in terms of like, there were always much older men, a decade, sometimes even 2 decades older than me, who would like give me cocaine. And there's not a cut off age limit for being manipulated. Like, I was still 24, 25, getting manipulated by people who are much older than me. Like, with drugs and just like emotionally manipulated and that type of thing. So, but I understand why people like are upset with her. I get it. I don't think it's great. I just think like, yeah, she's being a bit of an idiot.
Yeah, the thing is, like, I get all that and I do agree for sure. Like, that was one of the main takeaways that I made in the video that I did about this, which is that, like, well, she has been, like, manipulated her whole life essentially and has never learned, like, what a relationship between an adult and a child is supposed to be. Like, her entire defense of Colleen was, well, she can't actually be like all these things everybody's saying. She can't be a groomer because I've been friends with her since I was 12. Like, that
Yeah.
in itself doesn't make any sense. But
Yeah.
at the same time, I don't think that means that we ignore it. I don't think it means we should call her, like, I don't know, a predator herself, like Jojo, I mean. But we shouldn't ignore that this is a very bad take. And you kind of have to ask then, at what point do we start holding her accountable? Because she will get older. Like, is that point when she's 30, when she's 40? Like, when do we say, okay, hang on now, now you're actually being like an adult who's doing the same thing?
Mm.
It's just very complicated.
It is, yeah, it is very complicated. Because I agree that she should be aware that it is a bad take, because it is. However, some of the reactions I've seen, like you just said, I have seen people saying that they just asserting actually that Jojo is going to end up a predator herself. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel that right now that is helpful to the conversation. And I feel like, imagine you're Jojo and you're not aware that these adults have been manipulating you and exploiting you for years, years, years. And then you see people online because you think that like your friend is getting unfairly lambasted, whatever. Maybe she's not even looked into it too much. Who knows? Because I guess in that situation, like you are more likely to believe the person you know in real life and you've hung out with rather than like the faceless mass that is the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I can see how that would happen. Jojo's not going to see the nuanced, constructive arguments like or discussions like we're having about the conversation. She's just going to see the really extreme Jojo's going to end up being a predator herself stuff. And I feel like when that happens, it's just going to cause her. It's going to cause her to double down, I think, and
Mm-hmm.
just be like, they're all against me. They're all wrong. Like I know best. I mean, I did see people commenting on the Tana one saying that Jojo was coming across as a narcissist. I don't know much about that. I can imagine like she probably is a bit narcissistic if she's been, so successful from such an early age. It's probably a
Mm-hmm.
separate discussion to have, but yeah, I think it's quite complicated, and I don't think some reactions are conducive.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying as well, because like you see it all the time when somebody has some kind of standpoint and everybody says, like, that's the wrong standpoint to be taking, but then you insult them and you, like, just are really extreme about it. It pushes that person further.
Privately, I can think of many people that I've kind of like seen that happen to, because it is a push and pull effect. Um, yeah, yeah, I agree.
And probably like with Jojo Siwa, like what you're saying, like if what she's seeing and I hadn't even thought about this, is people just saying like, oh well, you're going to be a predator, like you're just as bad and all this. She's going to like feel defensive, which is going to make her feel more righteous in her own beliefs of like, yeah,
Mm.
no, I'm right, like these people are crazy because I'm not a predator, so obviously Colleen is fine and all these people are fine. Nobody's manipulated me, even though when you go back and you see like there was a whole like a year period of time where Colleen, the grown woman, had beef with like 13-year-old Jojo and they didn't speak for a year. Like it's
Really?
insane. Yeah, so
Oh my
Kalina
god,
just gotten
Dish.
divorced. Kalina just gotten divorced. And this is alleged, but also kind of confirmed by Colleen's ex-husband Josh. So vaguely alleged. They gotten divorced, and then Jojo did a collab with Josh because he was a YouTuber as well. Colleen did not like this and did not speak to her for a year. But not only that, like her whole family didn't speak to Jojo for a year, and Jojo had been really close with them. Like was at their house all the time, was good friends with Rachel, who was Colleen's sister.
Mm.
And then it wasn't until like a year later where they were in Canada at the same time or something like that. No, they had filmed a collab first. Apparently, it was really awkward, and then they were in Canada at the same time. And when Jojo was telling the story, I was like, Jesus Christ! Like, Colleen calls her. She's like 13 or 14 or something like that, and Jojo's like really excited because like it's Colleen calling, and she wants to be your friend. And you're like, you poor child. Like this, she was like nearly 30 or 30 at this point. And then she's like,
Mm.
yeah, there's this elephant in the room between us. Let's just forget about it. And then Rachel, the sister, randomly thought to text this 14-year-old, hey, let's be friends. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with these people? So the whole family are weird because they would not talk to her for a year because this child made a YouTube video with Colleen's ex-husband. It's absolutely bizarre.
God, that's so weird.
How do you have beef with a
That's
child?
These people are all so weird. This is what gets me. Like, can these people just not be fucking normal? Is it
Yeah,
that hard to be a normal person on YouTube? Is
it's
it that hard? Don't get me wrong as well, audience. I do think that Jojo Siwa is an incredibly bad look to be defending Colleen Ballinger right now, and I think she's being an idiot. But I also kind of think, like, would you expect anything different? Would you? I don't know. It's a tricky one, isn't it? It's a tricky one.
I I just it's I'm sorry, I'm still stuck on this and I wanted to just keep repeating it in my video, but I could only say it once, otherwise it'd be like 20 minutes of me going, why? But like how do you as an adult like could you have an argument for a year with a child?
No,
No, right? It's
no.
fucking weird. Why are you speaking to children? Why are you friends with children in the first place? Never mind, like having an argument with them about your divorce. Like you're old enough to be going through a divorce and you're fighting with children. So no
I'm
wonder like she's
speechless. I'm speechless.
no wonder she's like she thinks all this is okay because these are the dynamics she grew up with. Nobody like pulled her out of that. Her parents are probably I probably shouldn't say this, her parents are probably fucking useless. Didn't be like, maybe you shouldn't be hanging around with only 30-year-olds. Like perhaps you should have some friends your own age who aren't famous. It's just bizarre.
Yeah, I can't imagine how the parents would have been okay with any of this unless they were just seeing money signs.
I mean, probably like there is the whole conversation to be had of like, well, what kind of person would it take to put your child on a show like that, see how badly it's affecting them, and just be okay with that?
I'm actually planning to do a larger video about the conversation of child exploitation online when it comes because when it comes to content creation, child actors have laws in the United States that protects them against being exploited by parents. Like I think at least 10 or 20% of their earnings has to be put in a trust fund for when they're 18 or 21. Yeah, there's only certain hours that they're allowed to work, etc., etc. But for influencer child stars, there are no such laws. So there's nothing that's protecting them. So influencer children, like those vlogging families where the parents are just constantly filming the children, they're allowed to do that. I've been doing some research on this. There's one family that took their kids out of school to homeschool them just so they could get more content out of like filming the homeschooling process and filming the kids and stuff.
Oh, you fucking wankers.
Yeah, there's so much of that that goes on in with YouTube. It's very weirdly dystopian. I mean, even like some reality TV stars are getting in on it. So, Made in Chelsea, which you got to see a little bit of because you
I
did
did.
my video.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. There's this there's this couple on Made in Chelsea, this married couple, Ollie and Gareth, and they've just had via IVF twins. And the IVF journey was on Made in Chelsea, and I think that's fine. I think it's fine to like, show the ups and downs of something like that. I think that's okay. But now that they have these twins, they've just been like in photo shoots. They've got like a vlogging channel for it. They've got like a podcast channel. It feels very, very monetized. I
Mm-hmm.
looked at it and I was like, I don't like that. And then I've been researching like just all these family vloggers and stuff, and it's crazy because like the children of these family vlogging channels are starting to grow up, and as soon as the first one sues their parents for essentially stealing and monetizing their childhood, it's going to be like the floodgates going to be open. I can't wait for that day. Like so many, like because there's dozens and dozens of these people, so many of these adults are going to get sued by their
I
children.
can't wait.
I
Fuck them
can't
all.
wait.
Like they're just I truly despise family vloggers. Like I think you're the scum of the earth. I don't care who you are. Like it's disgusting. And I honestly do think probably some of these people are having kids just to just because they're like, oh, I can make money off of this.
There is a family. I got it in like a Word document somewhere. I can't remember the exact names of these families, but there is a family where it is heavily theorized because this woman has already had like 6 or 7 kids, some ridiculous brood number.
Mhm.
It's theorized that she got pregnant yet again just so they could make more content out of the pregnancy and out of.
I
And
just
imagine growing up with that and that being your life. Like,
maybe if this is who you are as a person, you should perhaps check yourself into a mental facility and like stay there. And that's the end of it. Like what why? Do you not understand like I know parents don't always protect their kids, but I just always have the hope that parents understand that they're supposed to protect their kids and not like inflict harm on them. Do they not realize that filming your child 24/7 and putting them up on the internet for everybody to see is going to affect them? I don't get it. And it brings it back to Jojo Siwa as well. Like she's been filmed not on YouTube, well, herself on YouTube, but like from the time she was what, like fucking 2 or something, she's been working.
and I guess because there's been a few anonymous Reddit posts, like Ask Me Anythings from people who are, they're at least saying that they are the children of like a family vlogger channel and it's awful and this is what like I got some posts that I'll go over the video itself, and I'm just thinking like, yeah, if you're the children of family vloggers, who are you going to turn to? What are you going to do? There's no laws protecting you. And I'm thinking, if you're Jojo Siwa, also, who are you going to turn to? Because, not only can you not seemingly trust your parents, or your mother at least, you are famous. Who are you going to turn to in that scenario? I don't feel like she's got any sort of support system.
Mm-hmm. I think they all need to do a Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen and just use their money, form a business, disappear, never see anybody again, never go to events, just be done. Like Ashley Olsen had a baby months ago and nobody knew. It only just kind of came out recently. But it was like nobody has seen this child, nobody even realized she was pregnant. That was the end of it. Like they just have this peaceful life. I mean, I'm sure it's not that peaceful. They probably have issues to work through themselves, but like nothing. They all just need to do that. And they can form a little group, a
Mm.
little support group. That would be a terrible idea. Somebody would decide to film it. They
Do you
can
know
have
who
a
I?
reality show.
Did you see actually? I haven't watched this show. There's a Netflix show called Love is Blind, and now there's a documentary being made about it by the Love is Blind contestants saying that they've been exploited, manipulated, psychologically tortured in a way, funneled with alcohol, all this stuff, to get content like for there's like an expose doc going on, and like so when people say, well, Jojo should know better because she's 20, I kind of want to point to stuff like that. And it's like, well, those people are full grown. Apparently, the brain always continues developing. So the whole, like, your prefrontal cortex apparently stops developing when you're 25, but the brain is always developing throughout, like, the rest of your life. It's not just like a body.
It's
Anyway,
neuroplasticity.
exactly. That's the word. It's neuroplasticity. Yeah, I kind of want to point to those people. It's like, well, these are, big old adults going onto these TV shows. And if they're getting psychologically manipulated or whatever, why is it out of the realm possibility that a 20-year-old is? And what about the prison experiment where any figure of authority, like 9 times out of 10, the people will torture other people if an authority figure says so? Like, humans are so easily manipulated. That's why we have so many cults.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why we're so easily manipulated, but we are. So,
I mean, there's a lot of research into it, and it is interesting. Like, I even wanted to do, like, I was trying to figure out a way that I could do my dissertation on cults, but it's like a very hard thing to do because you'd have to actually, like, find research people have already done or whatever. But it's just, well, that's the thing, because people are always like, yeah, your brain stops developing at 25 or whatever it is, which is like, what you're saying to a degree is true, but at the same time, your brain doesn't stop developing. Because if it was, like, you couldn't get traumatized at 30.
mm-hmm.
Like, your brain wouldn't be able to form those new connections.
Yeah.
Or you would just be dead. One of those. I'm not sure. I'm not a brain scientist. I'm just a student.
This
but
is why
like,
we need Andrew Huberman. He'd tell us. He would tell us.
get him to talk about Jojo Siwa.
Get him to talk about cults.
Exactly. And Jojo Siwa.
Yes,
I
of
want to
course.
hear I want to hear like a neuroscientist's opinion on like YouTube drama,
Yeah.
which actually might be what I do my dissertation on.
YouTube drama. Would
No,
you?
for real. Yeah, no, I'm like really interested in like the intersection between like the internet and um neurobiology and cognition and behavior and stuff.
Mm.
So I kind of was looking at doing something of like kind of mob mentality but on the internet, and then playing around with like more specific ideas because that's a little bit boring. But I might do something like that.
You could, and then you could mention how like cancellations, when people have purported to go through them, they say it does feel like you're dying, and that would come from, we fear being ousted by our tribes and our communities more than anything, because a couple 100,000 years ago, if you were deemed untrustworthy and kicked out of your tribe, you're dead. You're getting ran over by like a mammoth or something. You're just dead. You're gone. So that's why like it feels the same now when people get cancelled. They literally do feel like, oh my god, my life is over because of this.
I would really love to get some YouTuber like Colleen Ballinger. I don't think this would get approved by an ethics committee, but I would love to get them, like put them in an fMRI and have them read hate comments or something, or like watch videos about themselves and just see what happens. I just want to know what the brain's doing. I don't have a hypothesis though. I'm just curious.
Mm.
Although if I don't have proper research, I mean, it doesn't need ethics committee approval because I'm just having a look. Please don't let any university ever find this. I'm joking. Joking.
My brain wanted to go on something totally separate then.
Are you going to tell me or you decided against it?
It is quite off topic, but it's kind of on topic.
Go for it. It's a podcast after all.
What do you think about Jenna Marbles leaving? Because I have my own theory about that.
She was so smart. She knew she was going to get like full on cancelled. Like, I think she's probably a nice person. I'd say so. Like, but she had some stuff that aged really badly. And it was that era. I think it was like the start of the pandemic, maybe, when like that whole Dramageddon thing was going on in Shane Dawson. She probably looked at that and went, fuck, I have some, like, obviously not as bad as Shane Dawson, like nothing like with kids and stuff, but like she had done allegedly like blackface and all this stuff. I just went, I'm out of here, I'm gone, and I can be remembered forever as somebody lovely. And then probably all these big YouTubers have like invested in property, so they're fine.
See, I feel like Jonah Marbles was so loved, and it was people on Twitter dragging this old stuff up, right? And they had very malicious intentions, you know. Especially when you compare the stuff that she did to Shane Dawson or Jeffree Star, James Charles or whatever. And I feel like Jonah Marbles knew that she would be fine if she had continued posting videos. I think she would have ultimately have been fine. Tana Mojo has done loads of stuff and she is absolutely fine. Like, I think cancellation's not really a thing unless you like kind of allow it to, or if you do something that's just really awful and irredeemable. But people liked her so much. I saw a lot of people were willing to be like, okay, you know, if she says sorry, she says sorry, that's that. I feel like she didn't want to do YouTube anymore and she took it as an
Mm.
opportunity to be like, I'm out and I can go away on my terms and I don't feel like compelled or committed to doing this anymore. I feel like she already was done with the internet because her content was becoming more and more, she did it weekly, like she didn't really want to do it anymore. She had like a subscriber special and this was in the same year that she left, where she took a nap for 20 minutes and that was the video. She was like, celebrate, you know, hitting, I don't know, it was 20 million or something like that. I'm going to have a 20-minute nap because all I want to do is nap. And like, that's funny. That's a funny concept. But at the same time, I feel like
Yeah.
that's someone who's like has gotten tired and jaded of doing YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, there has to be like a little kernel of truth there to being like, all I want to do is nap. Like, I
Yeah.
don't want to, I don't want to have to put in the effort to do this video and then like whatever. Which like I get it. Like at some point, there's no way anybody can do YouTube forever. Like it is very mentally draining. And especially like the more subscribers you have, like I can't imagine having 20 million subscribers. Like you'd go insane. Like not to say that it isn't good, but there are like bad aspects of it. And then just the longer you go on, like there's an expiration date.
Yeah.
But I hadn't really considered that she probably just wanted to leave. Maybe it's because I never watched her, so I didn't see any kind of shift in
Oh,
content. I only watched her like last year or something.
I watched her. Yeah, I watched her like weekly because I loved her content and stuff. But that's how I interpreted it, as you know, because she was Jenna Marbles. She was very aware of her own reputation. Like, how could you not be? I think she was very aware of the fact that she was just almost universally loved, almost, and she would have been fine if she'd kept doing videos. If Tana Mojo can survive anything, if there's a nuclear blast, Tana Mojo will be able to survive that. If you're Jenna Marbles, like of course you'll be fine. The people that get at the mob that forms, they'd find something new. You know, Dramageddon happens. They'd focus on that rather than, yeah. I feel like she was tired and she wanted to go, which I want to do that every week. So I can't imagine doing it for 10 years and having 20 million subscribers. Can't imagine. Because at this level, I always want to quit.
I mean, yeah, the pressure with that many people watching, it would just be. I mean, I'd love 20 million subscribers. I'm not going to say I wouldn't love 20 million subscribers. I would. If it would get, see, having more subscribers would get rid of some of the stress that being a smaller channel comes with. Like, you don't know, like, next month if everybody's going to stop watching and you're not going to have any income,
Yeah.
which has happened to me, which is great. Um, but then, so that would be solved with having more people watching you. But then that comes with new pressures that I don't even know of yet. So I don't know. I, like, she did it 10 years, good on her. She retired.
Mm.
Even like Marzia did it. Like, she was
Mm.
just gone one day. She did the whole goodbye thing. I'm not doing this anymore. Like, she had people on gossip sites on about her for years, like just because she was PewDiePie's girlfriend. It was like, well, like she's just like she doesn't do anything and she's lazy and she's using him and she spends his money and like after a while that just gets tiring.
What would I do if I had 20 million subscribers? Quit.
Take a nap.
Take a nap. Quit. I don't know. I feel like, yeah, because you can't really do YouTube forever. Do you know who had the right idea. Filthy Frank, Joji. He had the right idea. He.
Are they the same people? Are you
Oh,
joking?
come
No,
on.
I'm
You know
complete.
that. You
No,
knew
no, no,
that.
no. Filthy Frank is the guy in the green suit, right?
The pink suit.
Pink suit. What? It's green in my head.
That's iDubbbz.
Okay, well then I'm confusing him with iDubbbz.
Filthy Frank is the one. He had the voice, and he was always yelling, and he was always being
They were
disgusting.
all always yelling. This is not. I know. I think I'm confusing him with iDubbbz. I think this is the issue.
Well, Joji, he was Filthy Frank for X amount of years. He did disgusting, hilarious content. He outgrew it, clearly. He made his millions because that was like, before the apocalypse thing happened. So, like, I do believe he would have been a millionaire for the content he was putting out. And he bounced. He had enough one day and he went and became a musician instead. And now there actually are people who don't know that Joji the musician was Filthy Frank the YouTuber. I think he absolutely had the right idea, and I think it's hilarious because what if he'd stayed on YouTube? Like, what would he have become? iDubbbz, who now just everyone takes the mickey out of him. I feel quite bad for him, to be honest, because he can't catch a break. Everyone is always making fun of him, being mean to him, which I don't think a lot of the time is justified. I don't know too much about it. Or becoming H3H3 and just having a podcast where most of the time you have bad takes and then you get made fun of. Do you know what I mean?
So no matter what, you're getting made fun of, essentially.
It's that Dark Knight quote: die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Yeah, that's comparable, sure. Why
100%, 100%. Joji had absolutely the right idea. Yeah.
So I think Jojo Siwa should quit and become a rapper.
Does she not do music? I feel like she would.
She did like music for kids. I don't know if she does like no, I don't mean that in a mean way. Like that was her brand. Like it's not this is not shade. It's just the truth. Like she was like Nickelodeon shit. So I don't know if she's done any music like seriously since then. Maybe she has.
Well, we shouldn't make fun of children's music on YouTube because do you know how much bank they make?
I hate them. I hate them. And I could do it, but I don't because I forget.
No, you absolutely should. I've been talking to my friends about should we just create one of those children's channels where and you're not on it. You just have someone do the animation, then someone do the singing where it's just like doing the alphabet a few times to like a little beat. And then you get 100 million views. It's a joke.
You sing, don't you? Can you do the singing?
I don't think so.
No, you can't sing nursery rhymes. What are your singing lessons for then?
Unless I did them like rock or emo nursery rhymes.
Oh my god.
Yeah, would that
Yeah.
be cool?
That would be so fun. I'll do like the beats for it. Be great.
Yeah, but I couldn't. This is the dilemma. I couldn't have anyone knowing that I was behind a children's music channel because you know how fucking embarrassing that would be. It's bad enough being a normal YouTuber and saying, "This is what I do for a living. I do YouTube." Like that's bad enough when you're around people who actually have real jobs, like I don't know, consultants or whatever. Imagine being, but they make so much money. My boyfriend's nieces, they watch these, and this is where I saw the phenomena in real life. Right, there's this one guy, and he's actually on the screen doing this stuff, and he does like the floor is lava type videos. He's got like 300k subs, and it's all animated, and he'll be like, right now we need to jump, the floor is lava, and the little kids, they were watching it over and over, and they were joining in, and they were dancing, and they were like jumping on and off the sofa, and this guy, his videos have like 100 million views, like each. It's mind-blowing. They have the
No,
right
that's
idea.
where the money is.
That Yeah, and your CPM would be so high because you're a children's channel. No advertiser is going to pass up on that.
Yeah, although didn't they change some of the ad rules about kids content? I'm not sure because I don't make it. So I don't know. No, we should do this. Emo kids nursery rhymes. Floor is lava edition.
I feel like I'd be a really good child's TV presenter as long as I didn't swear. I feel like I'd be really good. Children love me. I don't know why.
I I believe you. I just can't picture it. You know what I mean? It doesn't work in my head.
I feel like I'd be very good.
Well, do it then. Just, fuck the embar. You're already embarrassed. You do YouTube. You said it yourself. Like, it's already over for you. Just commit to the bit.
I'd also be like one of the only kind of sane children's TV like presenters as well, because most of them are on drugs. Like, you realize that when you become an adult, it's like, oh, a lot
What?
of them, yeah, a lot of like children's TV presenters have had like drug problems or whatever. Like a few, like there was Mark from Smart, and his girlfriend died in a bathtub, and then he committed, which was really sad. I remember when that happened. I was like, what? Mark from Smart? I was heartbroken.
I don't even
But
know
yeah,
who that
there's.
is, but I'm very upset about this
Did you never
information.
see? You never had Smart? Where did you grow up? Ireland. Did you never have
Yeah.
Smart? Didn't you have CITV or CBBC?
I had CBBC, but I didn't really watch CBBC. I watched like RTE Kids. Like it would have kids shows on in the morning and then they would show different things. And also like just a lot of Cartoon Network.
Oh yeah, sure, granted, but no, Mark from Smart was very sad.
That is really upsetting. I don't I don't like this information. Why would you like close off the podcast on such a sad note?
Because life is grim. Reality is grim, and we should all remember that and just go on with our days. And maybe we should all just try to be a little bit nicer to each other, because reality sucks and everything is in a state of entropy. I try and say that, but then like I go outside and someone pisses me off, and then that goes out the window. All the goodwill goes out the window.
I go outside and I turn into a dog. I'm like, oh, pretty leaves. Oh, the sky is so nice. Life is worth living. And then I go back inside and I'm like, I fucking hate everything. I'm miserable. Why am I so depressed? There's absolutely nothing wrong. I just want to crawl in a hole and die. And then outside again, it's like, oh, look at the color of the sky. So it's a bit stupid.
I go outside and then I turn around and go back inside. I've had enough.
I mean, fair enough. I prefer to be outside though. Maybe I should just lean into the like I think we're equally sort of I was about to say narcissistic, that's the wrong word, pessimistic about life. But
Mm,
maybe I should lean into my outdoorsy dogness and just be the really cheerful one on this podcast. I can't do it. I can't.
absolutely do not do that. No,
I
no one
will
wants to
I'm
see
gonna
that.
now because you said not to, I'm gonna. You'll never invite me on again.
No one wants positivity around here. Certainly not me.
The sky is beautiful and the moon is beautiful, and you can't tell me otherwise, you heathen.
The moon is disgusting. I
The
think we
moon
should
is
nuke
beautiful.
it.
You know the science. We can't nuke the moon.
We can
You
if
are
we're not with that
Gru.
attitude.
You're Gru.
Who's Gru?
Despicable Me. He
Fair
wants to
enough.
steal the moon.
Did you know that the US once had plans of what if we nuked the moon?
I think I've heard of this. It might have been on
Yes.
Ancient Aliens or
Nah,
something.
it's a Wikipedia article. You can look it up. The US wanted to blow up the moon just to see what would happen, I think. I endorse this idea.
No, 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 no. No nuking the moon. No nuking anything. Nuke's bad.
Yeah, nukes are bad, but
No. You can't say nukes are bad, but
I just
there's
don't
no
like I
but.
don't like it when the moon comes out in the middle of the day. Like, what are you doing? It's not your time. Go back to bed. Stop being
It's so
weird.
pretty. You get the
Such a
best pictures
pervert.
then.
Pervert. Not having it. That's all for today's podcast. This was ridiculous. This was a ridiculous podcast. So ridiculous. I feel like so many people are going to be like, "How dare you try to be nuanced about Jojo Siwa?" Look, I think she's an idiot. Like, don't get me wrong. I
Yeah,
do.
really nuanced about Jojo Siwa, but then the moon's a
When it comes to
pervert.
the moon,
Nuke it.
absolutely not. No, absolutely not having it. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Grim.
Yeah, well, thanks for watching.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. I make new podcasts clearly whenever I feel like it. Follow us on Spotify and iTunes, and we'll see you all next time.
Bye.
Bye.